Welcome back to the channel. My name's Tom, and today I'm taking a look at what is probably one of the most successful malls that I've visited in a very long time. That's right, today we're visiting Willow Grove Park Mall in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. The mall was built on the site of the old Willow Grove Park, which was an amusement park that was here from 1895 until 1972. The amusement park was then rebranded as Six Gun Territory in 1972, but eventually closed in 1975. Because of the area's amusement park history, the mall was designed with a Victorian theme in an attempt to capture the spirit of that amusement park that was once here. And as we walk around the mall, try to see how many amusement park references you can find. Right off the bat, we've got this amazing carousel. The carousel is not original to the mall, though. It didn't get added until 2001, but it definitely fits that amusement park theme. This mall opened in 1982. It was developed by the Rubin Organization and Federated Department Stores and was designed by RTKL. It's been owned by Priet since 2000 and is currently one of Priet's top performing malls, making over $763 per square foot as of 2019, which is just short of nearby King of Prussia Mall's $773 per square foot as of 2018. In comparison, Priet's other nearby mall, Plymouth Meeting Mall, which I did a walkthrough of a couple weeks ago, only made about $320 per square foot in 2015. So needless to say, this is not a dead or dying mall. As you can see, it's 3 floors, and according to Wikipedia, it's 1.2 million square feet. Assuming that's correct, that makes it almost as big as Oxford Valley Mall, and just a little bit less than half the size of King of Prussia Mall. But don't let those numbers fool you, because this mall is massive. The original anchor stores were Bloomingdale's, Abraham & Straus, and B. Altman & Company, which is a store I've never heard of before until I researched this mall. Today, the only remaining original anchor store is Bloomingdale's. As I've said in the past, I think one of the indicators of how well a mall is doing is how the food court is doing. And this one seems to be doing pretty well. Only this place here, Salad Works, seems to be out of business. Everything else is open, and there's a lot of people here. Which the reason for that could be that this was filmed on a Monday around 5:30 p.m. or so, roughly. So you do have a lot of people there for dinner. But I would say this is probably one of the busier food courts I've seen recently. And this food court has a pretty nice selection. And there's a lot of places here I've never heard of before, like this Cosimo's Pizza. Of course, I've seen Charlie's Philly Steaks pretty much everywhere. I don't think I've seen that Cajun Grill before either. And I also don't recognize this chicken and burger place either. I don't generally eat at mall food courts, but if I had to, I'm sure I'd be able to find something I liked here. When this mall first opened, it was intended to be an upscale mall, but by the mid to late 80s, the mall started adding more middle-class friendly stores such as Sears. Today, I would personally classify this as an upper to mid-range mall, which is a classification that I just made up, but that's how it feels to me. It's not super high-end like Boston's Copley Place, but it's probably higher end than most of the other nearby malls I've been to in this area. I haven't been to King of Prussia yet, so I can't compare it to that, though. It kind of feels a little bit like West Farms Mall in West Hartford, Connecticut. Not sure if you'd classify this as a chandelier or a mobile or just a work of art, but this is pretty amazing here. All these animals you see are the type of animal you'd see on a carousel or a merry-go-round, which again harkens back to the amusement park that used to be here. I don't know if any of those animals were ever on a carousel, but that's what they're supposed to look like. Straight ahead is where the original anchor store B. Altman & Company was located from 1982 until 1985. It became Sears in 1987. The Sears downsized in 2015 to just the first floor, and they leased the rest of the building to Primark. The Sears finally closed in 2022, and fun fact, that was the last full-service Sears in Pennsylvania. And don't forget, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot more mall videos and store walkthroughs coming up. Thanks. Coming up at the end of the hall here, where Nordstrom Rack is today, is the location of the original anchor store Abraham & Straus, which was there from 1982 until it closed in 1988. Later in 1988, it became Strawbridge and Clothier, which finally closed in 2006. Since then, the old Strawbridges has been divided into multiple other businesses. Most of the third floor became Nordstrom Rack in 2012, which is on the right here, and then straight ahead. And then the other part became the Bravo Cucina Italiana restaurant in 2011, which was to the left here. It's been the Yard House since 2019. And then Forever 21 also took up some of the third floor in 2011. The two lower levels became a JCPenney from 2012 until 2017. And today, the spot that was the JCPenney for that short period of time is now occupied by an arcade called Tilted 10, which opened in 2023. So here's the Cheesecake Factory restaurant, which I really like, and the Yard House, which is probably one of my favorite restaurants. Sadly, there aren't really any around me where I live, and I only run into them when I'm on these mall trips. But later in this video, I did decide to get dinner at the Yard House, and I've got a little bit of footage from inside the restaurant, so stay tuned for that. I have to say, I really like the look of this mall. As I mentioned, it's got a Victorian theme, so it's trying to look a little bit like the amusement park that used to be here. And you see those lamps there, they're very reminiscent of old late 1800s, early 1900s lamps, which I think is a really nice touch. And of course, I just can't get enough of this piece of art here. And again, I'm not sure what to call it. What would you call that? Would you call that just a piece of art? A chandelier? A mobile? I'm honestly not sure what to call it. This huge clock is pretty spectacular as well. I'm not sure if it still chimes, but it does have some pretty big bells hanging underneath it. And it's, again, got that Victorian era look to it. And coming up is the Macy's, which was added as part of a $25 million expansion of the mall in 2001. The 2001 expansion also added a parking garage and that carousel that we walked past when we entered the mall. I do have to admit that this stretch of the mall does seem a little quiet, but I do stand behind my opinion that the mall seems to be doing very well overall. And here's the only remaining original anchor store, Bloomingdale's, which has been here since 1982. I don't think I've ever been inside a Bloomingdale's before. There really aren't any near me in Connecticut. So if anybody wants to see a walkthrough of a Bloomingdale's, please let me know in the comments. And, next time I run across one, I'll try to do a walkthrough. While this mall is doing very well as far as I've read, there are some vacancies like this one here on the right. I didn't count the number of open versus closed stores in this mall, but just off the top of my head, I would say it's at least 85% occupied, if not higher. If anybody knows the exact figure, let me know, but that would just be my guess. Alright, so now let's head on down to the second floor. And also stay tuned, later in the video I'll be taking a ride in the elevator. But in the meantime, I'm going to be quiet for a little bit and we can all take in the sounds of the mall.
Look at yours, bro.
These kids up here were throwing something from floor to floor, and the old man in me wanted to yell at them, but, like, whatever. They're not hurting anybody, but you shouldn't be doing that in the mall. Hey, come on. Coming up on the right is the Apple Store, and last year in 2023 some guy tried to shoplift here, and in order to escape he decided it was a good idea to jump over the railing. Not surprisingly, he fell to the first floor, He didn't get very far, though, as he did shatter his pelvis. Another positive for this mall is they do still have a music and movie store. They've got an FYE. My only complaint about that FYE is the logo. I much prefer the old blue logo. But as long as it's still here, I guess it's okay. And then straight ahead is that arcade I was talking about, Tilted 10, which moved in 2023. This again was originally Abraham and Strauss, then Strawbridge and Clothiers, and then finally JCPenney up until 2017. I do have to apologize, I did not do a walkthrough of Tilted 10. I would have loved to, but it was getting really late in the day and I was kind of hungry, so I did skip it. But if I'm ever in the area, I will do a walk around to that place. Not sure what's going on with this GameStop. The gate was down, but it looks like it's still open, so I don't know if they were just out to dinner or what.
How far we have to go? Holy Christ. I put 100 miles on already.
And now down to the first floor. Oh, thanks. Nope. That guy at the kiosk was trying to sell me shoe polish or something and trying to buff my shoes, but I was wearing hiking boots. You don't polish those. Didn't make any sense. I didn't pass this guy in front of me because I think he's actually mall security, so I didn't want him to see me with the camera. He probably wouldn't have cared, but you never know. So I stayed back a little bit from him. Any idea what he just did there? And now it's time for everybody's favorite part of the video, taking a ride in the glass elevator. And because this mall is 3 floors, you get a pretty good view from the top here. And back down we go. So now the question is, why is Willow Grove Park Mall doing so well while the nearby Plymouth Meeting Mall, which is owned by the same company, and most other malls are struggling? Well, I'm probably oversimplifying this, but I think it's probably a combination of its location and the number and variety of businesses here. Unlike some malls that are made up of 90% clothing stores, this mall has pretty much every type of store and business you can imagine. It's got something for everyone. On top of that, even if you're not in the mood for shopping or eating out, I think that the atmosphere in this mall is so lively and the architecture is so spectacular, in my opinion, that I would bet a lot of people come here just to hang out, which is something that you don't see too much anymore. I have no doubt that if I lived near this mall, I would be stopping by here almost on a weekly basis. And if I'm missing anything, or if you disagree with what I just said, please let me know in the comments. Believe it or not, underneath that chandelier slash mobile slash artwork, there used to be a pretty big fountain up until as recently as 2020 or 2021. I don't know why it got removed. My only guess would be maybe it cost too much to maintain. I can't really think of any other valid reason to remove it. Alright, now straight ahead, this is where Sears was located up until 2022. Like I had mentioned earlier, back in 2015, Sears downsized from 3 floors just to 1, and this is where Sears was when it closed. And it's still empty to this day. Not sure if there's any plans to put anything else in here, though I honestly don't know. So now it's time to go to dinner. I'm going to take this elevator up to the 3rd floor and get something to eat at the Yard House.
You said it was a quarter. Let's roll.
Here's the menu. If you want to read it, just pause the video now. I got the fried cheese curds as an appetizer, and I would describe them as a really fancy fried mozzarella. Highly recommend them. I didn't get it on film, but I did have a hamburger for dinner, and again, it was really nice. One of the best hamburgers I've had out in a restaurant. You too, thanks. So now that you've seen the inside of Willow Grove Park Mall, let me know what you think about it. I think, again, that it's pretty spectacular. I like the look of the mall. It's really lively. They got a huge selection of stores and businesses. But that's just my opinion, so let me know what you think in the comments. And don't go anywhere yet. Next, I'm going to do a drive around the mall, and we can see what it looks like from the outside. Here's where the old Abraham and Straus and later Strawbridge and Clothier used to be located. And then it's been the Nordstrom rack on this floor since 2012. Here's the Macy's, which was added in 2001. And here's the Bloomingdale's, which has been here since opening day 1982. And by the looks of it, I would say they probably have not renovated the exterior of this building since then. It's not necessarily a bad thing, it just looks very 1982 to me. This is where B. Altman and Company was located from 82 to 86, then became the Sears in 87. The Sears closed in 22, and then I think in 2015 or 2016, the second and third floors became that Primark. I believe that parking garage was added in 2001. And then again, this was Abraham and Straus, then Strawbridge's, and then finally J.C. Penney before becoming the Tilted 10. And there you have it. That's Willow Grove Park Mall in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot more mall videos coming up, as well as store walkthroughs and, of course, flea markets. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.